was actually kind of, yeah, she started,
Right.
this is what Mary said. She's like, welcome to your first day.
Took
Here's an event.
heard anything on that.
And good luck.
We'll keep her hawking. We'll keep her hopping. That's exciting, though. It's nice to have that position, like that position filled.
Mm-hmm.
It's 7 o'clock. Is it?
Probably.
6:59.
Mayor's clock is a little bit
Well, this is
middle
off.
road to the left. Maddie's telling me where she is. Well, I'm not there anymore. Her mom's there. Check her phone.
The game went longer with the 8th graders than I thought.
If you
No,
need
I've got it here. I
Okay.
just, last time I knew I was going to be late and
Somebody's eating candy.
doing a very good
At your
job.
house? No.
No, there's like some sort of grape sugar stuck to the table.
Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's bring our meeting to order. It's October 10th, 2022. Tonight, our invocation will be provided by Reverend Mark Massey, pastor at True Light Tabernacle, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Boy Scout Troop 59. If you would, please stand with me.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Let us bow our heads. Father God, we thank you once again, God, for allowing us to congregate ourselves together one more time. Jesus, we honor you tonight. We give your name honor, glory, and we magnify you. Now, God, we pray, God, that your spirit will move inside these hollow walls. God, touch every one under the sound of my voice on tonight. Bless our city leaders, God. Bless our mayor and his cabinet and his assistants tonight. God, we continue to lift up our men that are out patrolling our streets, our first responders. And God, each and every civic and every organization that's represented here tonight, God, we give you honor, God, for their presence being here. Now, God, we say we thank you. Thank you in advance, God. Continue to bless our schools, our homes, our children, God, even our elderly, God. We ask, Lord, that you would just have your way on tonight. We bless you and we honor you and we thank you. It is in Jesus' name we pray, and we all say amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors. Color guard, advance. Color guard, hoist the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City of Mount Holly. How is everybody this evening?
Doing well, thank you.
On today, I was doing some reading and come across this thing about, scouts are supposed to be helpful. And I come across this, and I want to share this thought tonight with the City of Mount Holly while we were here. One day, a boy was playing along the bank of a river that flowed through a city. Unfortunately, he fell in and was quickly caught in the current. Spinning away downstream, screaming for help, many people stopped along the way, watching the boy in trouble, but not willing to go in and help. At just that time, a man was crossing a bridge over the river on his way home from work. He'd had a long day, was really tired, and he heard the commotion. He looked over the side of the bridge and saw the boy flailing his arms weakly. Immediately, he dropped his lunchbox, jerked off his shoes, and he jumped over the edge of the bridge and pulled the young man to safety out of the cold water. Having earned the Swimming and Life-Saving Merit Badge in Scouts, he caught the little boy and pulled him to shore. As he dragged the sputtering boy onto shore, he recognized it was his own son. This man was thinking of helping someone in need. It didn't matter who it was. He was just prepared to help. This is how it often goes. When you set out to help others, it often turns out you're helping yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Appreciate it. Thank you for sharing that. Give you chills down your spine, right? So I want to thank Reverend Massey for being here. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Boy Scout Troop 59. We appreciate your participation and leading our Pledge of Allegiance, and certainly that word today. So thank you so much. I'll remind everyone that we have public comments sign up when you come in, as well as public hearings. We will be getting to those shortly, so if you wish to speak tonight, please sign one of those sheets. Next is set the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Ms. Polish, second by Mr. Craig. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. We have 6 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
The last person that spoke to us in the public comment last meeting was Miss Billy Lucky, and it's in the minutes, Miss Billy Lurkey. So we
Typo,
need
okay.
to change that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Amy, you take note of that? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Harris. Any other changes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Mr. Moore, second by Ms. Shoemaker. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Next, we have presentations. I would ask the council, if you would, please join me on the floor. So we are designating this week as Business Appreciation Week, and we have members from the business community here. So if you're part of a business here in Mount Holly, whether you own it or work there, if you would, please come forward. We'd like to have you a part of this. We have National Gypsum. Just stand right up here. Yeah. We'd like you to come up and be with us. That's right. We're together. So we have National Gypsum, 119 North Main. Hold on, sushi and Thai. I'm looking forward to the sushi and learning more about that. My daughter eats it all the time. Yeah. Telrace Marina, owner and operator, we have tonight. She'll be speaking later, so you'll get to hear Ms. Wilson speak on the TDA and what they do. But thanks for being here. So whereas the businesses in the city of Mount Holly play an essential role in the continued strength of our community through their innovation, creation, expansion, and employing a workforce that preserves the economic well-being of life for all our citizens. And whereas the Mount Holly businesses operate in diverse industries, including manufacturing, retail, tourism, food service, information technology, among other thriving entrepreneurs that creates a positive effect to the quality of life for our residents. And whereas these businesses provide essential employment opportunities, provide local tax revenues, and make other significant contributions to our city that promote both educational opportunities for our children and a variety of activities, therefore increasing the quality of life for our citizens and connecting community with nature. And whereas the business appreciation events offer the citizens of Mount Holly the opportunity to recognize businesses for the essential role they play in moving the city forward and being a driving force in the economy of the city and surrounding areas. Now, therefore, be it proclaim that the mayor and city council of the city of Mount Holly acknowledges the importance of businesses and the numerous contributions they make to our city and our residents. Therefore, I proclaim October 10th through the 14th, 2022 as Business Appreciation Week and urge the citizens of Mount Holly to recognize our local businesses by visiting these businesses in support of the local contribution they make to our city, adopted this 10th day of October. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention David Moore from David's Detailing, Christina Polish from Accentuate Spa. Then we've got Ivory Craig of Premier Real Estate, and Phyllis Harris runs her own business. I don't know the name of it. It's a dog. You take care of dog sitting business. And Marie Anders has a law firm. Who else am I missing? There you go. So there's several businesses recognized here, and I own the Smoking Barrel. So out of that. So we'd love to take a picture with you guys so we can post that if that's okay with you. Thank you. But you have to get in front.
Right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yeah, I was sitting here reading this going like half the council or more owns businesses. I didn't recognize them, so should have done that. Next, we have a presentation of a resolution recognizing Edith Jane Galt-Reed, correct? What was? Stewart Reed, sorry. I told you I would try to do that. They were missing Stewart on this. As the last living teacher associated with Rollins Elementary. Amazing. Please come up. I'm glad Miss Connolly taught me my ABCs because I get to read all that for you. Yeah. I asked her if she knew my first grade teacher, and she did, and they were really good friends, so that was cool. So, resolution honoring Edith Jane Stewart Reed upon her birthday. Whereas on October 2nd, 2022, Miss Edith Reed celebrated her 94th birthday. And whereas this is a fitting occasion to recognize her legacy as a former teacher at A.M. Rollins Elementary School, and whereas a native of Concord, North Carolina, Miss Reed received her bachelor's degree in English from Barber Scotia College and her master's degree in reading from Appalachian State University. And whereas fresh out of college, Miss Reed taught math, reading, science, and music to 7th and 8th graders at Rollins School from 1958 until 1966, just before Rollins School closed and integrated with Mount Holly Elementary School. And whereas Miss Reed and her students participated in community events such as themed graduations, concerts at area churches, and singing from a bus during the Mount Holly Christmas Parade. And whereas Miss Reed also served as a social worker for cases of truancy, the music teacher for the rhythm band and junior chorus, served on the school accreditation committee, and helped organize the annual May Day event when school girls wore matching dresses and danced around the maypole to celebrate the return of summer. And whereas from the time she joined the faculty at Rollins School, which she called her learning tree, Miss Reed worked under the excellent principal Andrew Rollins and fell in love with the children and the Mount Holly community, which she experienced as cooperative and supportive of the school with parents who cared about their children's educations. And whereas Miss Reed and her husband, the late Paul Reed, who was formerly the principal of Reed High School, raised 3 successful children, Jane Stratford, Alice Paulette Reed Sproul, and Paul Reed Jr., and is now the proud grandmother of 4 grandchildren and twin great-grandchildren. And whereas one of the last surviving former teachers of Rollins School, Miss Reed is still remembered fondly by former students, and her legacy is one of love for people and for doing whatever benefits people in the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council and Mayor of the City of Mount Holly do hereby recognize Miss Edith Reed on the occasion of her birthday for her lasting contributions to the community as a teacher at Rollins School and for planting the seeds of learning, love for fellow man, and community spirit in the next generation of citizens of Mount Holly, this the 10th day of October 2022. That's all for you. We're going to come over here and take a picture. It's a lot of responsibility.
Trusting.
She had to see me drive.
Greg, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And Council Wood, will come around and shake her hand while she's here, while we go back up on to our seats. I told her she had to stay, Thank you.
Run while you can.
We got some upgrades on the candy.
Oh, look at that.
Harder to have now.
Next on the agenda is a presentation by the Tourism Development Authority, Inka Wilson. That's Anika, isn't it? Annika, right. Annika Wilson, sorry about that.
That's all right. You're not the first one that couldn't say my name.
When you spell my name like I do, ho, hue, and how, I get it.
Good evening, everybody. The IT guy is going to get the presentation ready. Okay. All right, so my name is Ineke Wilson, and I'm the chair of the TDA. So where does TDA stand for? It stands for Tourism Development Authority. Big words, but TDA is how we pronounce it. This is our logo, and I'm the chair. We own Tailrace Marina. Michael Zubel, who could not be here tonight, is the general manager of the Fairfield Inn and Suites down the road. And Reba Edwards, you want to stand up, Reba? She's on the board. She's the manager, the sales manager of Holiday Inn Express. So what does the TDA do? We collect the 6% tax that you pay. 3% goes to the municipality and 3% goes to the TDA. So here's a little explanation of what we do with the money. So the revenue is about $140,000 a year. $10,000 goes to general operating expenses, that's the budget. $50,000 goes to marketing and promotion because we want to get heads in beds. We want to attract people to Mount Holly so that they will use the hotels. $50,000 goes to grants, and I'll explain all this later. and $30,000 would go to a sustainable project. Okay, let's talk about the first one, marketing and promotion, $50,000. Philip, do you want to stand up? This is Philip, and he's with Marketing and Tier LLC, and he does our Facebook. He does lots of things to promote Mount Holly. So when you see this on Facebook, Philip is behind that. Marketing, promotion, videos, and ads. So we invested in 4 videos that I'm going to show you, and they're like short, 1.5 minutes.
Mount Holly, North Carolina invites you to explore the welcoming and walkable downtown that is the heart of our community. Hot meals, cold drinks, and friendly people converge on Main Street in just the right mix between life moving too fast or too slow. The legendary Jack Mac Burger at Jack Beagles awaits the adventurous foodies who like to mix things up. Cool off your taste buds with a cold beer on tap after dining indoors or outdoors on the spacious patio facing Main Street. For the greatest selection of regional craft beers, you have to feast your eyes on the cooler at the Summit Bottle Shop and Tap Room. Feel free to grab a seat indoors or outdoors with friends, or strike up a conversation with the bartender to learn about the great selection of locally crafted beers on tap. If you're looking to reignite the art of conversation, then look no further than the plush seating and finely crafted atmosphere of Smoke and Barrel Cigar Bar and Lounge. In downtown Mount Holly, we welcome you to explore everything that we have to offer, and we are excited to meet you and introduce you to the great place that we call home.
Okay, so this was a series on food and social studies. This one is about downtown, retail and crafts.
Hello, this is Jeff Lee, the owner of the Vintage Nest Home and Gift Shop, located in historic downtown Mount Holly. We're located right on South Main Street. I want to invite you to enjoy a nostalgic shopping experience for all your home and gift items.
Hi, my name is Kendall Starcher and I'm one of the owners here at Catalyst Mercantile. We offer a great selection from over 18 local makers and artisans. We get new product in every week and we're located right here on North Main Street on the other side of the tracks from the Vintage Nest, across from William and Henry. You can't miss us. And we can't wait to see you. Hope you stop by soon.
Hi, I'm Vicki with Create Nest Art Studio, where we have a maker's market where we feature lots of items from local makers, all handmade or handcrafted. We are also an art studio where we have different classes and events throughout the year.
The next one is about the river and the marina.
Welcome to Telrace Marina, situated on the Catawba River in Mount Holly, North Carolina. See why this is a destination of choice for kayakers, paddleboarders, and boating enthusiasts alike.
I don't know why that man is so happy.
Enjoy a day of adventure on the river with your family, friends, or maybe your four-legged best friend. The marina boasts a wide range of amenities, including kayak, paddleboard, and pontoon boat rentals. After going for a swim or a sightseeing tour, consider grabbing a bite to eat at J.R. Cash's, a riverside restaurant and bar. If you brought your own food, have lunch at one of our many picnic and grilling areas. We know you'll enjoy your time at Telrace Marina, so come on down and explore what the Catawba River has to offer.
And one more. And this is about the Greenway. So while this is playing, because this one is silent, we made those 4 videos to really promote Mount Holly. They're available for anybody. You can share them your business. We can share them on Facebook. If you have any other suggestions, please tell me. If you would like to see more videos, please tell me. We want to attract a lot of people to Mount Holly, and I think a visual like this is very powerful. Just give me any feedback what you think after the meeting. So $30,000 we have set aside for a photo opportunity or a billboard, and a billboard. So future plan is to have this billboard on Highway 85 and several billboards. This is still in the planning. We would love to see a Mount Holly trolley, but that's really future plans. And I've talked to Emily, the arts lady. In Greenville, South Carolina, they have mice, like little bronze mice all over the city, and it's like a scavenger hunt. So I talked to Emily, and since this is a bee city, we thought it would be neat to have bees all over the city that people can, like a scavenger hunt. But these are all future plans, ideas. Then we have $25,000 set aside for incentive grants. And I'm really pleased to announce that we spent $17,500 last year on all these events. We've given out, they're not all been done yet. And we have, there's only 5 here, but I just received another application that we approved. 6 of them go to events right here in Mount Holly. So we're really excited about that people are taking this opportunity. And then we have a big check, so we come to the event and we take a picture for marketing. And the other $25,000 goes to city event partnership. And we're real pleased to help out the city with the You'll Love Mount Holly event that is coming up. The electric Christmas parade and snowmobile, a lot of things. And that's what TDA stands for. Thanks for listening to me.
It's very nice. Thank you so much. Did council have any comments or questions? Yes, sir.
One general
Mr.
comment, you're
Meadows.
asking for, you might want to do another vignette, the video on your nonprofits. You have a long list of them there that have a place associated with each of them. You could probably have a really nice nonprofit video that you could put together.
And we're going to do a video on the Christmas parade too.
So you're going to do, I'll repeat that so that people online can hear you. You're going to do that for the Christmas parade as well, is what you were saying?
Yes, I think the question was to do videos on all the nonprofits, right? Yeah, we would love to do more videos on all the events because that's great marketing, I think.
Well, I think the Mount Holly Historical Society and Museum, among all the nonprofits that you basically have contributed to when you look at that list, so it's pretty extensive. I personally like the narrated version. I thought it was appropriate, the music on the Greenway. I think you should really screen your boat drivers, your skippers.
Yeah, there was one man smiling real big. That was my husband.
I'm kind of leery of Bob driving a boat. I'm not sure. Hey, Bob. Bob walked in, so I'm not talking about him.
He'd been to J.R. Cash's earlier.
Yeah, he had, probably.
Yeah, but we have the money and we can invest it. And if you all think it's a great idea to do these videos, we used 2 different companies. One had the voiceover and one did not. But if you like the voiceover better, we can do that. So just
I think it makes
give
it,
feedback.
me personally, I think it makes it more personal. You know, Jeff Lee talking, et cetera. And in the next year, we have several new businesses that are opening up that are coming. So it gives you another opportunity to highlight the growth.
Yes.
Also with the videos, if you do wording with it, maybe captions as well, because a lot of people, if they're watching videos, sometimes they actually don't listen to it, but they might read it. So
Great suggestion.
Great idea.
Suggestion. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see a TikTok video soon from Bob Wilson on the boat. All right, next we have our public hearings. We have a public hearing to consider the rezoning of 1.06 acre of tract of land owned by the city of Mount Holly and located at 14 Caldwell Drive. Mr. Beal.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This is a corrective rezoning measure, as this property, going back 20 years, this area was a hodgepodge of zonings, light industrial, residential, agricultural. We sought to create the South Gateway Overlay District in 2006, hard to believe. It's paying off today with all the businesses coming. This was something that was discovered by staff, and it's corrective in nature, shouldn't be residential, should be business. Water tanks are allowed in business. It will keep that conforming, but more importantly, it will keep the folks from having to have buffers and other things, which they shouldn't have to do next to a water tank, because there's some design issues that we're dealing with, where to put BMPs, where to put driveways. We got a lot of stuff in that area, gas lines. So the corrective rezoning, took it to the planning board public hearing last week, and they recommended unanimous approval of the rezoning.
Council entertain a motion to go out of our regular meeting into our public hearing. Motion by Ms. Shoemaker, second by Mr. Meadows. There is no one here to speak on the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to go out of our public hearing back in our regular meeting. Motion by Mr. Meadows, second by Ms. Shoemaker. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Council, do you have any questions for staff regarding this matter, the rezoning? Would council like to take action? Mr. Meadows?
Move approval.
Move for approval, second by Ms. Polish. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you. Public hearing to consider a proposed text amendment as submitted by city staff to Article 12 in the zoning ordinance. Mr. Beal.
Perhaps a housekeeping item, Mayor and Council. It's since you approved the mandated water density averaging credits for our watershed overlay district, this would just refer back to the article in section 12.10. It would read, as authorized by North Carolina General Statute 143-214.5, the Board of Adjustment, in addition to its authority as the Watershed Review Board, in deciding appeals and making adjustments to the exterior boundary of the watershed overlay districts per section 12.8 and 12.9 respectively, shall have the authority to approve applications for density averaging for the WS4 Lake Wiley protected and critical watersheds in accordance with section 5.15 watershed overlay districts 14F density averaging. That's a mouthful, but that's essentially housekeeping item that gives the power to the Board of Adjustment for those reviews. Planning Board made unanimous recommendation that the council approve the text amendment.
Okay. Entertain a motion to go out of our regular meeting into public hearing. Motion by Ms. Shoemaker, second by Mr. Meadows. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. There's no one here to speak on this text amendment. I'll entertain a motion to come out of our public hearing back in our regular meeting. Motion by Mr. Meadows, second by Ms. Shoemaker. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Does council have any questions for Mr. Bill or others regarding this matter?
Can you reread that? I didn't hear.
I know, we need you to repeat that. If you don't mind.
Did it on one breath. It's like running out of breath.
Does council wish to take action? Motion by Ms. Shoemaker to approve?
Yes.
All right, second by Mr. Craig. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Stay right there. It's the Greg Bill Show. Public hearing for traffic control devices at East Catawba and Low Street.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. So a couple months ago, we received complaints on these particular Airbnbs. I want to let everyone know in your update, it was posted that the county has signed off that that duplex, which was illegal, has been turned to a single-family rental home, and that was passed last week. So there was a final inspection. This was a part of it. There was a complaint received about the blind curb in this area. It went through the process of analyzing it, and staff per the Street and Solid Waste Department is recommending no parking signs to be installed in this area.
So no parking signs, not no parking signs.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
so signs with no parking.
Gotcha. The way it sounded was like we're not, yeah. Want to make sure we're clear. All right, entertain a motion to go out of our regular meeting into our public hearing. Motion by Ms. Polish, second by Ms. Shoemaker. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. There's no one here to speak on the public hearing. If entertain a motion to go out of our public hearing back in our regular meeting. Motion by Ms. Shoemaker, second by Mr. Meadows. I have one question.
Yes, sir.
If a trailer's parked in the middle of the road on those no parking zones, can it be towed?
Yes, sir. We would defer to the police department on those matters, but yes, it could. If the signs are installed, we typically give a grace period, but I don't think we've had any complaints lately, but it could be towed.
I wanted to ask that question specifically. It was asked to me, so I want to ask you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Does council wish to take action tonight on this? Motion by Ms. Harris for approval, second by Mr. Meadows. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you. We'll take clapping over booing anytime. That's good. Take it where we can get it. Next is discuss. There's no one signed up under public comment. The next under old business, discussion of architectural funds for Historical Society. Mr. DuPont.
1 second while I switch back to this main computer. forthcoming.
While you're setting those up, Greg, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you this question because I feel it coming. When will the signs be erected and who will do it?
Yeah, they have to call in the locates first, and then once they call in locates, then sometime after that, and locates usually take 3 business days, I would think.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm going to provide you some information on the architectural funds and action plan staff is proposing. So some background information: in this current budget year, there's $85,000 budgeted for architectural services for a new museum location. At the September 26th council meeting, there's a presentation by the City, Historical Society, and Save the Museum Group. And based on that input, staff has put together a plan of action to consider reclassification of the $85,000. This would be a change in the scope to a facility assessment of 131 South Main. This does require a new request for qualifications, as the other RFQ that was advertised did not have this scope. We also are recommending developing a Old City Hall Facilities Committee. Members would review the qualification packets submitted and recommend a firm to the City Council. And this group would also work as recommendation committee for the priority project to 131 South Main, the assessment of that property. And the representatives on that would be 1 representative from the Historical Society Board, 2 council members, 4 citizens, and 5 staff members. And the next steps, the RFQ was advertised last week. We didn't want to delay that process. We wanted to, keep the momentum going. The RFQs are due October 21st at 4 p.m. We expect the first committee meeting to be this month, probably this week actually, and then the second committee meeting will be early November to review and recommend a qualified firm to the City Council for selection. And then future meeting schedule will be determined after architect is under contract. And we were tentatively expecting a conceptual drawing review in January, February after the new year.
Okay, does council have any questions for Mr. DuPont? We actually have the committee appointed. People have agreed to be on the committee. I made it a mayor's appointed committee. So I appreciate those who are serving. There's several here. The Historical Society, when they elect their new board, they will have an appointee. Right now, Richard Brown has graciously agreed to be that conduit for us. So I'm not committing anything to you, Richard, but I know how much it means to you, so I appreciate you serving on that. You need approval to transfer the funds?
Yes, sir. Blessing from council.
Okay. Council, yes.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Meadows, second by Mr. Craig. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. There were a lot of hands going up, so try to. Thank you. Next is consideration and approval for relocation of 147 East Catawba Avenue. Mr. DuPont.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So some background on this. The property was purchased by the city on January 4th of this year, and since then, staff's been researching options for the dwelling, the structure on the property. So the options, relocate the dwelling to a property in close proximity and then sell it. Relocate the dwelling to a property in close proximity and sell to the current tenant. For both of these options, we did consult with a real estate professional, and we also worked with our GIS department to review all vacant parcels within the city limits. And then the third option would be to hire an auctioneer or upset bid process for the dwelling to be relocated. So this is just a map that shows how these properties were looked for. They're varying distances from the current house or property's location. And you can see that even the recently foreclosed or soon-to-be foreclosed properties are identified on here as well. And we only looked at properties that are within the city limits. We did not look beyond the city limits. So of that map, you can see there's 227 vacant properties within from half a mile all the way out to beyond 2 miles within the city limits. You can see that based on varying prices for average price per acre, and then staff did internal research first, and we found information that basically came to a potential sales value of the home to be $270,173 based on our due diligence. And then we compared this with the real estate professional, and we were actually, it's good that we did that because we were actually undervaluing the house, and the recommendation was that this house would sell for $280,000. So when we dive into the three options, which again are move the house to a location and sell, that's option A. Option B is move a house and sell to the current tenant. And then option C is to auction the home and buyer to remove all debris, and the city were to, sow grass seed to stabilize the soil. We looked at these options. So if you look at the total, expenses the city has, we purchased the property for $300,000. With that, there was a moving allowance for the homeowner of just over $27,000. And then you start seeing the variation as you get in across the three options of what future expenses could be tied to an option. So you see that purchasing a new lot, the city would have to obtain the property that a house would go to. So that's estimated to be $20,000. The possibility of demoing or getting the lot ready to have a house moved on it, that was $18,000. We did contact a local general contractor to work with our staff to understand the cost to relocate this home, and that price is $190,000. So we, as staff, we weren't actually expecting that. We learned some things. We learned that the house currently sits, the peak of the roof is 18 feet, and that is the maximum height that you can move something without having to relocate overhead utility lines. So that's the height of the house now. Now you take that house and you were to put it on the back of a flatbed, which is at least 5 feet high, if not higher. So you're over that maximum. So there's not just moving the house, then you have to coordinate with all the utilities, have those utilities disconnected or relocated temporarily on the route that you would move the house to. So again, the further you move the house, the more cost is associated with that. So if we were to find a property that's closer to that 2 miles from this location, that price is probably going to be higher than the $190,000. But we feel like the $190,000 is pretty accurate for if we stay in the same general area. So that's why we have that number represented. And then incidental $400 to sow grass on the lot. And then, with one of the options, cost to store partial furniture if the current tenant were to be the new owner, because they can't live in the house while it's being moved and then set back on the new property. So we'd have to store their things, and then of course we'd have to more than likely cover the cost of an apartment or temporary living quarters for 6 months while that's occurring. And then also the realtor fees for a new location or sale for the tenant, that's represented in here. So when you go into that, you see, the subtotal of the expenses for those three options. Then the revenue, we believe that the option A and B is we could expect to get $280,000, and if we auction the home because you would think you could auction it for more, and that's what I was surprised about, but then when you think about it, whoever buys it is basically taking on all the expenses that are in option A or B that the city would not have to incur. So that's why it's only would auction potentially for $30,000. I know it didn't make sense to me at first, but when you start thinking it through, it does make sense in that regard, that they're still going to have to pay those costs. And so you can see where at the total expense to the city, that's where we take the subtotal of the expenses and we deduct the potential revenues under the options. And they're all roughly from the $292,000 from option A to option C, it's roughly $5,000 difference, and then roughly a $5,000 difference from option C to B. So really, when we were looking at that, staff really focused in on the subtotal under the expenses. Since it's really negligible on the revenue side, we really looked at where the arrow points to the subtotal there. The expenses to the city, option C has the least expense to the city. So based on that, degree of effort, staff time, the city funds that would go into these options, staff's recommendation is to, have the dwelling hire an auctioneer to handle the process for relocation, not the upset bid option, because then there's still work that we may have to, there's more expenses that we could incur. But if we contract with someone to do the auctioneer option, that would be a cleaner process. However, we also wanted this recommendation to include an if the property does not sell, cannot find anybody that would want to buy it, then we would recommend it be demolished and removed. And then we would also recommend that if council's willing, that this option would apply to any dwellings in this vicinity that is purchased by the city. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you for all that. That was the $190,000 for relocation of the utilities. That's good information to have. Council have questions, comments for Mr. Dupont or other staff?
Great information. Makes the decision a little bit clearer.
Okay. Does council want to take this for information now and make a decision later, maybe again at our work session? Mr. Craig?
Yeah, maybe take information now and then talk about it a little bit more later, because I don't know if it's reasonable that someone would want to, a third party come in, buy the home and then take on all those extra fees to move it when it seems like it may cost over half of what the house is actually worth. And would it be worth it at the end of the day? So, and especially right now, kind of in this market, I don't know if that would even happen. But yeah, I think taking the information and kind of weighing our options a little bit more.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll bring it up. Work session be okay for you guys?
Be fine.
Does that work? Okay, we'll put it on the work session agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A 4 and 5. I need a motion. Ms. Paula, second by Mr. Moore. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. We're in closed session. We will stay in here for closed session tonight.